Uh, let's continue from where we stopped. So yeah, that's it. I can't remember who asked the question. So again, your admission and all of that, it's your sole responsibility. PTDF is not going to be the one to do it. Please note that. So if you have not started applying, please try and apply, as soon as possible. The basic documents you need to apply to most schools will probably be your degree, certificates, your transcript, your CV, your cover letter, what is called personal statement or statement of purpose, your reference letter, and more importantly, your English language proficiency. The UK government states that anybody that's coming to the UK must have whatever means of language proficiency, either it's via IELTS or TOEFL or Pearson or Duolingo, or you have a letter from your school stating that your medium of instruction is English language. Or another option, which is actually the most flexible option, is your WAEC certificate. So you can buy a scratch card, or what do they call this thing? A pin, from the scratch card, and attach it to your WAEC certificate and upload that. Now, most schools would actually accept that for your English language proficiency. All right, in case you're worried about writing IELTS or not, most schools, not all schools anyway, but most schools would accept, your WAEC certificate, provided they're able to verify the information on it. You'll be able to, make do with that for your English language proficiency. So that's when you're trying to apply to schools. Again, some schools will probably ask for application fee. There are two options you have. If you have the money, you can go ahead, to, pay the application fee. If you don't have that money, what you can do is that you can write to the school requesting for a fee waiver. Most schools would actually respond to you, giving you a fee waiver. Not all schools, so don't quote me wrong. Most schools would actually give you, a fee waiver. So yeah, that's that with respect to when you're trying to apply for, admission and all that. So I'll take another question. Johnson Inamani. Johnson Inamani, you have the floor, please.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it's very insightful. So my question is, during my application, I choose France and Germany. But now I don't know if after the interview, can I change to UK? That's my first question, because I actually applied for PhD. My own is PhD, because I find that most of French school, this thing is not in English, and I might find it difficult to relate to it, even outside the school environment.
You're French.
Thank you.
Yeah, monsieur. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm listening to your question. Or are you done with the question?
Yes, I'm done, sir, for now.
Okay, so I can't say exactly if you will be able to. Which one is your first choice?
Is France.
So most likely most likely when you've been awarded a scholarship, France will be the only option you would have. Most likely, right?
Okay.
However, you can ask them, at the interview, what is most likely to be. They should give you a more specific answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Ayo.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
So, yeah, first question. So you mentioned in passing, you said if they know that PTDF is sponsoring you, they will always offer you an admission.
I'm not saying exactly that. Like I said, that's a conditional statement.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
If you meet up with the criteria, I'm with you.
Sure. My question is, how can we infer, or do we just state outright that we're prospective PTDF students?
Okay. So let me just chip this in. Thank you for just bringing this up. When you guys are applying for your admissions, right? There's always this section of, how are you trying to finance your studies, right? They will tell you, is it going to be, are you going to sponsor yourself, your family, or someone is going to sponsor you, right? Now, there's the option of, an organization sponsoring you. What you can do is that you can PDF the email that PTDF sent to you, that then shows that, you're trying to apply for funding, with PTDF and all of that. And what that means is that, because sometimes schools don't give people admission if they don't see that you have the ability to fund yourself, especially from some Ivy League schools like Oxford, Cambridge. That's like even more important than your academic qualification, because they don't want, I think one of the things I've observed here since I've been in the UK is that, see, if you don't have the money, don't even bother to come near us. Whether it's even school or even restaurants. Some restaurants will paste their price list at the window, so that as you're coming close to them, if you can afford it, you enter. If you cannot afford it, you get out. Do you understand? So people take funding very seriously. So what you can do is just PDF that email that PTDF sent to you saying that, you've been shortlisted for an interview and all of that, and put that as your funding option. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you very much. That clarifies that. So I was also going to ask, so now that you've shifted our focus to physical interviews mainly, I wanted to know how, let's say, strict or rigid they are with their time. Should we
The truth is, sorry, take that again, please.
I'm saying for those that will be traveling to the States, for example, I plan to travel to Ibadan. I want to believe that's still UI if you have that information.
Yeah, that's UI. Yeah, that's UI.
Trying to sleep over, or is something that you can finish up in a day?
Yeah, it's something you can. I'll give you a classic example of how mine went, right? So I was in Lagos. I traveled to Ibadan, that day. I traveled to Ibadan that day, and believe me, I met a lot of queue, like a whole lot. The people I saw that day were probably over 1,000. I'm not exaggerating, and that's just one day out of the, what do you call it? Out of the dates they fixed for the interview. And so there are a lot of people who are applying, so you must know that, right? And that's why they'll probably give you maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes to talk and all of that before you're done with everything. They will check your documents and all of that. Whether you're coming outside of whichever your location is or not, that's your own personal responsibility. PTDF is not going to, what do you call it? PTDF is not going to take responsibility for that. That's your own personal responsibility, right? The truth is, if you have someone you can stay with in Ibadan, I'll probably advise, because I probably won't tell you to, leave Ibadan in the night, and, because I know that, you have to take your safety, very seriously, right? And, avoid stories that touch. So if you have someone you can stay with, please, relate to that person. If you can stay in a hotel, it's not too much, all right? People spend millions over a year to actually fund their studies. Do you understand? Even if your school is very cheap, the least your school will probably be giving you in terms of your school fees is £15,000. If you convert £15,000 to Naira, that's over 12 million Naira that PTDF is going to sponsor. And I know most of you guys, the schools you're going to go to will be top notch. Schools that are probably paying £30,000, £35,000. Imperial College, for example, can be like £37,000. London School of Economics, Political and Economics will probably be close to £40,000. By the time you look at it, for each applicant, PTDF is going to be spending within the range of 30 to 50 million for each applicant, right? And that's why I'm saying that when you get to the UK, you probably understand the weight, because you're probably not thinking of anything. I'm not thinking of, I've not paid half of my tuition fee. How do I sort that out? It's between PTDF and the school. I'm not thinking of how do I, feed myself. I'm not thinking of do I need to now apply for care jobs? And that's what people do here. You take care of, old people, or you're working in a restaurant, or you're working in a what do they call this? In a factory or something. You're not having to struggle with that. So whatever you can do, whether it's to pay for a flight to Abuja or to, to do something, I think it's actually worth it, right? So that's that. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. So you also mentioned something interesting now. So sorry. Last question. Yeah. You mentioned the documents that will be going through. Is there a list of these documents? Is that something you covered earlier?
Document that you will go through for admission purpose of the PTDF.
That the panelists will go through now.
Okay, that the panelists will go through. Okay, let me try and recall. They will go through your works. Now they are going to ask you to pick your top 5 subjects. All right. Okay. So you're going to pick. Please, can we mute ourselves, please? they would ask you to pick your top 5 subjects, right? I think I'm trying to recall how we went. Now, I would advise you to pick all the subjects you have distinction, if at all you have like up to 5 distinction, excuse me, including English and mathematics, right? Remember I told you that PTDF is a point-based system. So it means that if you have more distinction, you'd actually get more mark or more points. Do you understand? So that's that. They would ask for your work certificate. They would ask for your transcript, your degree certificate, your professional qualification, if you have any, your research proposal, if you have, that's for PhD candidates, your research proposal, any document you actually submitted when you're trying to apply, right? Have all those documents in hand, both the original, I'm emphasizing that original. That's just for sightseeing, and photocopy in case they want that. All right. Now, if you have an offer already, you can include that too. Print out, your offer letter and attach it. Let them go through all the documents and see that yes, you truly have something substantial, for you to get the scholarship. Does that answer your question?
Yes, very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you. I think I've called Johnson Namani, right? Ehile Israel.
Hello, Akin.
Hi.
Yeah. Thank you, Ayo, for the question. I wanted to ask, as regards that putting PTDF first in the universities, I wanted to know, is it possible, because I have like 4 questions I would ask, is it possible for us to put PTDF in the motivation letter, say, in case the school doesn't, the application process doesn't include space for those upload?
So, believe me, I've applied to most of the schools in the UK. All right. And I can tell you that most of them would have a section for funding,
Okay.
if not all the schools, right? You see, save your motivation letter or your personal statement for your own self. Everything should be about you. All right. Let that funding part be about PTDF.
Okay.
Do you understand? Most schools would actually have it.
No problem. Then another, I was going through the portal, although I did the application like 2 years back and I verified my name, but I'm still seeing in verification failed. I don't know if it will affect my chance of.
For your NIN, right? But you were able to,
yes.
you were able to apply for the scholarship.
Yeah, I was able to.
You were able to apply for the scholarship, because I know you can't apply for the scholarship without you first of all verifying your NIN. I know there were some issues with people who were trying to verify their NIN, and it took maybe the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time before they eventually verified it. So I think that's just more of a Nigerian system. That shouldn't affect, if you've actually applied, I don't think that would affect you.
All right, no problem then. Then another thing, you mentioned putting the white scratch card. I don't know, are we to get a white scratch card on the day of the interview to attach to the
No.
white?
On the day of interview, they won't like verify, the authenticity of the, white certificate. It's just for your admission. That's where that's applicable.
And lastly, I don't know, you know how brutal our professors are in Nigeria. So if there is any dress code for us, and especially for some of us,
it will be formal. It will be formal. Your dress code should be formal.
Do we scrape our beds for some of us who keep beds and stuff?
Do you what? No. I think that's too extreme actually. Right. The most important thing is just, the way you dress, they say dress the way you are dressed, blah, 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 and all of that. Just dress modestly, if you can cack up as if you are going to meet the president, it's possible. This scholarship is money, So dress very, very smart, and all, yeah. But I don't think you should go to the extreme of, having to shave your beard. You're not a pilot now, so. But if you can trim yourself up, you can trim your hair and all of that, something to just make you look good, that's fine. But don't take it to the extreme and you'll not bad school though because of PTDF. What if they don't give you the scholarship? What will happen? All right, so yeah, that's it. Just dress decently, basically. All right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure it does. Thank you.
Ogumbi your Motayo. Sorry, I'll try as much as possible to answer all of your questions. Let's just take it one step at a time. Ogumbi your Motayo, you have the floor, please.
Okay. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Okay, I actually saw the mail lately, so I just joined the moment I received. I checked my mail now. So I wanted to ask, what if we have not received offer letter? We have not even applied at all to any of the universities. Does it affect
No, that's not
the?
going to affect the application in any way. So they are not trying to give you an interview so that they would collect your offer letter. Now there's a room for that if you already have admission, right? You can upload your offer letter to the platform, but if you've not gotten an offer, it will not in any way affect your application. The most important thing is that once you've been awarded the scholarship, make sure that you get your offer letter as soon as possible so that you can impute it in the system. They can then generate your award letter for you, which you will use to apply for your certificate of acceptance of studies. And then you can now proceed to do your visa. So it doesn't in any way affect, basically.
Okay, if I understand what you are trying to say, after I've gone for the interview and okay, I'm part of those selected, I would have to bring my offer letter
Yeah,
so that they can give me the award of.
Yeah, they can give you the award letter. They can give you the award letter. Yeah.
So after the acceptance, then I can now proceed.
You can now proceed with respect to you having started to apply for your visa, blah, 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 and all of that. But I'm going to do, like I mentioned in this video, I'm going to do a more comprehensive video. I don't know if it's going to be a Zoom meeting like this, or I'm just going to, do the video for myself and then upload it on YouTube. So please stay tuned, whichever platform you join me from. I'm going to put a post once I've done that video, or if I'm going to, use a Zoom link like this, I'm going to let you guys know. I would have suggested if we can have like a WhatsApp platform, but I don't want, I don't want to, distort the purity of this meeting. Most of you probably don't have my numbers, maybe except very few people who I know very personally. It's very deliberate, right? Because I know it's possible for people to start disturbing, you with calls, and then it feels like, am I your parent? Why are you disturbing me? Even with respect to emails, sometimes people just email me and say, schedule me for a meeting, period. And that's the email. I don't know you from Adam. This is my first time you're talking to me. You don't even know me, no even introduction. Schedule me for a meeting. I'm like, who the hell do you think you are? Or do you think I'm getting paid for all of this or something? So I know, so I would have probably suggested like having a WhatsApp platform, but I don't want to abuse where you see someone trying to DM you for, so whichever platform you're with, if you reach out to me, rest assured I'm going to respond to you, in my earliest convenience, and I'm actually taking this today and tomorrow to respond. I have an exam, but I just feel like this is my own contribution to you guys, right? Let me just do it for you guys. And because during my own time, believe me, number one, we didn't really know PTDF, so we really overlooked a lot of things, so we are just applying. In fact, when they gave us the scholarship, we were more surprised that we got the scholarship. That, are you sure this is really, we got this? Like, are you sure? And all of that. So I just want to make sure that more people are aware about the scholarship, more people can get the funding for their masters or their PhD. So that's the reason. But reach out to me if you have any more question, whether it's YouTube, you can put up a comment. I will see the comment, I'll respond. If it's an email, I think most of you should have my email address, right?
Yes.
Montesho@gmail.com. Please reach out to me with whichever question, whether it's with respect to PTDF application or schooling. If it's schooling in the UK, it makes more sense because I'm in the UK, right? I can always answer your question, and all of that. So yeah, that's it.
But I've been reading about it online, and I got to.
Let me put a disclaimer. If the person is not a PTDF scholar, and this goes to any other application, I know there are a lot of people who put a lot of stuff out there. If they are not beneficiaries of it, believe me, they don't have the full perspective that a person who has been awarded the scholarship, and I'm not just talking PTDF, whether it's another, whether it's another scholarship or something, any information you hear that is outside of whoever is a participant, I think you should just discard it. I know people, probably it's the reason why some of you even actually like got in contact with me, right? I know you're trying to search online and all of that. That was how you came in contact. But there's a lot of misinformation out there. All right. And that's why I'm emphasizing, if you have any question whatsoever, please reach out to me. I'll try as my best possible to respond.
Okay. So between virtual and physical meeting, which one?
Yeah, I think I've explained that in my previous meeting. Physical meeting, point blank, physical.
Okay.
See, the people that would interview you, are probably pot-bellied professor. I don't mean to insult anybody's pedigree. People who probably don't know how to use Zoom or Google Meet or whichever platform you guys are going to use. So imagine in your meeting, you're still struggling to, you have never answered the who are you question. You're still saying, hello, can you unmute your mic? I can't see you. The network is bad. Hello, Tum Tum. That would affect the person's perception about you, even though it's not your fault that all of those things are happening. It's better to do a physical meeting, and then really it's an investment that is worth it. How much do you want to spend? Even if you fly to whichever state you want to fly to. I mean, you can't spend the 100K, for flights. So it's just worth it. If it's possible, I know there are instances where it might not be possible to do a physical meeting, then do virtual. And then let's just trust God that, you'll be awarded the scholarship.
Okay. Then about the WAEC upload, do I have to strictly pick my best scores, or I should just ensure I have mathematics, English, relevant?
So for WAEC, when it comes to the interview,
yes,
you don't need to upload anything. They will just ask you for the, or they will check your WAEC certificate to ask you for the top 5 subjects you're going to pick, including English and maths. So you should pick the subjects that you have distinction, if possible. If you don't have distinction, I mean, just pick the one that is closest to. So for example, A1 might have let's say 5 points, B2 might have 4 points, B3, 3.5, something like that. So just pick the ones that, is closest to, the highest score. I don't know if that makes sense. But when I talk about the scratch card and all of that, I'm talking with respect to, admission to schools.
Okay.
Do you understand? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
So I can see.
Okay. I have a last question, please.
All right.
Okay, what if somebody gets the award this year and that person would like to use it next year? Does it work?
You can defer till next year. However, after you only have a chance to defer once for one academic year. If you don't take it up the following academic year, you will forfeit the scholarship.
Okay. All right. I think that satisfies all I want to ask.
All right, I have 2 more persons. Ogumbi or Motayo, please.
I was the one that you just communicated with.
Oh, all right. Apologies. Yeah. Idris Abdul Akim. Okay, I can see Reynat. Okay, I'll attend to you then. Just give me.
Idris Abdul Akim. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I actually have 2 questions.
All right.
My first question is, at what point is the SOP being assessed? Is it during the interview or after the interview process?
So it is both. All right.
Okay.
Both in the sense that your interviewer would ask you questions surrounding your SOP.
Okay.
All right. The second part is that there's a general system of checking all those statements of purpose. Different people, different interviewers, let me put it this way, would, for example, they can give me 10 SOPs to review and tell me to rank those scholars, 1 to 10. Another person will get it, they'll tell the person to rank it 1 to 10. So it feeds back into a general mode of, how they access people on a global level.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense. So it's two-way. The two-way thing. Number one, they are going to, read it, to ask you a couple of questions in your interview, and that's if there is time. For me, they didn't have to do that. Most of my conversations were even not related to PTDF, to be honest. All right. I think one of the professors that interviewed me is also an accountant and also went to my school. All right. So it was more of a chit chat, he was trying to bubble me that would I come back to Nigeria and all of that. I said, I will come back, whether I come back or not, so God knows, but, so it was more of a chit chat, and all of that. So there's really nothing. So what criteria was used for the first shortlist? Okay.
I have one more question.
Yeah, sorry. Before you ask a question, I can see a question on the chat. So what criteria was used for the first shortlist? A couple of criteria, right? So when you were applying, I don't know if you can remember, when you guys were applying for the PTDF scholarship, they had a couple of, what do you call it? A couple of criteria that you need to meet, maybe in terms of age, maybe in terms of, you having no more than 2 sitting in your WAEC, maybe with respect to your degree qualification, first class or a second class or part. I can't remember all of them on the top of my head. Those are things that they used to screen out people. You'll be so shocked that a lot of people will still apply. Either some people thinking that, don't worry, God will do it, whether I fit into the picture or not, or I fit into the criteria or not. But oftentimes they're not. They would always screen out those people. This is actually the main, screening. You guys will probably be maybe close to 5,000, and they'll probably select maybe, depending, maybe 500 people, master's degree and PhD. If not more than 500 persons, maybe 600 persons, master's degree and PhD. I think from my time, we were close to 500, and all that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question for Ayo. I can see another question, iPhone 12. Please, my question is, I'm sorry, please hold on. Do they accept international professional memberships? We did verify my publications during the interview. And lastly, I applied for a course in artificial intelligence, but my SOP is based on blah, blah, blah. Okay, first of all, they recognize international professional membership. All right. I know some guys who applied with ACCA instead of ICANN, so they recognize it. We did verify my publication. I can't say exactly, but I mean, you should be trustworthy. If you say that you have a publication, then you should have a publication, right? There's no point you trying to say you have something and you don't have it. You're going to be shooting yourself in the foot. And lastly, I applied for a course in artificial intelligence, but my SOP is based on cybersecurity using artificial. I think it's somewhat related. I don't know the technical details, but I think it's okay. We have another 10 minutes. I think it's somewhat related anyway. Do you understand? I have a question, but I cannot because I'm in a noisy environment. Please, what is the time frame for this scholarship? Are we expected to get admission and resume September 2022, or it's January to September 2023? So for this year, you're expected to gain admission between now, that's September, to June 2023. Anything apart from June 2023, maybe September 2023 upwards, that is what we call deferral of your award letter or of your scholarship. Do you understand? So it's not compulsory you do September 2022. If you can meet up with January 2023, you'll still be able to get a scholarship. If you can meet up with March or April, depending on the school, if you can meet up with June, that's also fine. But anything after June 2023, you would have to defer it. I hope that answers your question. So please go on, Idris Abdulkarim. I would answer more questions on the chat.
Yeah, okay. My second question is about going along with publications and awards and stuff like that. Concerning the award, in a situation whereby you are actually a best graduating student of your department, and we had a convocation recently, but the certificate has not been issued to us.
Do you have a letter stating that you are the best?
I have a couple of reference letters that I use in applying for several scholarships.
No, I'm saying the one that shows that there's none, Abi.
Yeah, there's none for now because the schools are on strike.
Put it on your SOP.
Okay.
Yeah, put it on your SOP. That settles it.
All right, thank you very much.
Put it on your SOP. Yeah. Ogumbi Yomota, I used to raise it. Okay, Rainat, please ask your question.
Hi, Akin. Thank you so much for this platform. I have just one question. It's in regards to the email we received today. They asked us to update our SOPs.
Yeah.
And then I want to have an idea of what that means. Like, do they mean like we should add more information to that or elaborate on something, or if there's something new that we would want to add? And then about scheduling the interview, would that also be on the platform, or do you send them an email in regards to like, oh, okay, I'm done with this, so you could schedule me for the interview?
Sorry, take the last part again. I'm sorry, I missed you.
It's in regards to scheduling the interview, because it says that when you go on the portal and then you finish updating your application and then choosing your interview location. So yeah, I just want
that would be with respect to the interview date, it's going to be automatical, right? Okay. They would have a system that just allocates, interview dates to different people who have completed details they ask you to complete. Do you understand? You don't need to. The most important thing is just do what they ask you to do on that platform. Update your SOP. If you have an offer letter, choose whichever location you want to choose. There's an automatic system that just distributes. So you will get another email from PTDF saying that so and so and so is your date or time for, for your interview. Do you get? With respect to your updated SOP, if you have anything new, right, I would encourage you to include it. Maybe anything more recent. That's one. Number two is if probably you did you did your SOP in a rush, because I know that during the application, when I put out the video, like tons of people actually reached out to me trying to, for me to review the SOP. And I reviewed, I think, about 90% of them, and some people reached out to me. You'll be so shocked that some people reached out to me a day to when the scholarship was going to close, or even that same day that the scholarship was going to close, telling me that I should review I'm like, I don't have the luxury of time. I've taken like over 2 weeks to review applications and all of that, sending my comments and all. So probably people did, a lot of rush work, with respect to your SOP. This is actually the time to, to get more stabilized and, update your SOP. If there's any error, and all of that, just try and update it. But if you don't fall under that 2 categories, there's no need for you to update your SOP. Just change your interview location and all that.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let me take some questions in the chat. Please, what is the timeline for the scholarship? Is it geared towards, okay, I think I've answered that question. Can someone look for the admission before he's awarded the scholarship? I've emphasized that you should do that. Does NSC, I don't know what that is. By asking us to update our SOP, does it mean that we have to write a new SOP? Not entirely, or add to the ones we've already submitted. I think that's preferable. All right, except if you have the time to write a new one. Can I get a commendation letter from my school? What commendation letter? I don't understand. Does NSC count for much as, yeah, NSC counts for engineering. Good day, I'm already updated and I picked Germany. Is it possible to change the country? Because I'd like to change to the UK. I doubt, but you can try. I doubt if you'll be able to change to the UK. Please, as regards the update of the PTDF scholarship, there isn't a place to update the admission letter. I think there is a place, if I'm correct. I know someone sent me a screenshot, of trying to, update your admission letter. I think there should be a place. All right, Aishat Liasu. I'll take 2 more questions. If there's any more question, again, I think we'll just have to rejoin the meeting again, and just like we did initially. Apologies that we're having to rejoin and all that. So Aisha, please, you have the floor.
Yeah, thanks for this. So my question is based on the, I keep hearing that we're supposed to take evidence of awards or proof of professional, what's what called?
Certification.
Yes. So does it count if you have, like, let's say, course certifications? Can that also count as a form of award, or it has to be
when you
like,
say course certification, can you like expatiate more?
Imagine doing a course on Coursera, Udacity.
Okay. I doubt if that would. So when they say professional, they actually mean professional. So for example, you're an accountant, you're doing ICANN, you're doing ACCA, you're doing ICAEW, you're doing CPA. If you're a finance professional, you're doing CFA, you're doing CMAR. You're an engineer, if you're an engineer, you're doing NSC, all those professional. I doubt all of this online certification would work. I doubt, actually.
Okay, so what of the award parts? Because I keep hearing you're supposed to bring evidence of awards you've won.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So you would actually try to understand. To be honest, most of these guys that are, in charge of this scholarship, yeah, they probably, finish their PhD maybe 1980 something, So if it's possible, I don't know whether you not carry plaque, but if you can carry it, I mean, it's all good. Carry plaque. If you have the letter or commendation letter, I know, for example, now I got an award and they gave me one plaque like that. In that case, I'm not sure. I can't remember if I took the plaque, but I mean, if you can carry it, I mean, if that's what we give you the scholarship, why not?
Okay, sorry. And last question, you said something about bringing your original certificate, like your original transcripts, your original WIC and the likes. If you don't have them, like if you don't have a physical original one.
So I know, for example, now these transcript issues we have in universities, some schools will tell you they can't send transcript personally to you, they would have to send it to the organization. Just do a colored copy of it. That's the original.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand? You just have to find a way around it. I mean, if you don't have it, just do a colored photocopy or something. That's the original. It's not like they would check the document, put it in the machine and say, is it original or not? So yeah, that's it. I don't know if I should take one more question before we reconvene. I don't know which one would be more convenient for you guys. Should we reconvene or should I take one more and then that's it? Anybody talking?
Yeah, I think we should basically suspend the forum and set a
Rejoin.
new date, probably weekend, because a lot of guys have been complaining they will want to join, but due to, you know, hustle and bustle of workplace and this.
Well, that's not, I'm also working with my timeline, right? So
let's end the meeting and reconvene.
okay. So everybody, please let's try and reconvene. Thank you very much.